YouTube, it's Adrian here from Team AES, bringing you a deck profile. What I bring to you today is my Twilight deck, which I pilot as my main deck for competitive play. And just a quick fact before I go on, this deck's brought me extreme success already this early into the year. With the 3 locals I've entered it in, flawless victories pretty much. Dropped a match or two here or there, but haven't lost the actual tournament itself. And I've also qualified for the Super Series already, pretty much piloting this exact deck list. I mean, it's a rogue deck in the sense that people aren't going to heavily side for it. I might see a bit of leeching the light here and there, maybe some deity crows, maybe some kaikus, which I actually have trouble getting over. But besides that, it's not heavily focused on. It's good to slide under the radar with this rogue deck. And as a player, I'm always choosing to play rogue decks simply because I don't like playing meta or being in the spotlight or being heavily sided against, so this deck's perfect for me. It's my absolute favourite archetype alongside Volcanics, and this deck's extremely competitive. Alright, onto the list. So, I play 2 Lila. I don't play Mystical Space Typhoon in this deck. I don't see it as a staple in an aggressive deck like this, but Lila's perfect in the sense that she can net you pluses by beating over a monster and then popping a back row in main phase 2, or she's just handy to clear a back row for a big play, and of course she mills 3, which also helps, get towards getting out my boss monsters and whatnot. But overall, just an extremely strong card. I love playing her in 2s. She's obviously a solar recharge target. And she doesn't often net me pluses, but she's always getting rid of pesky warnings or D-prisons and whatnot that are getting in my way of successful plays, so she's perfect in that sense. Next I've got Lumina. Pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you pitch 1, get a Light Swarm monster, optimum play turn 1 with Garoth and whatnot. Easily Trishula plays combined with Plague, discard, get a Light Swarm monster out. Lila, pop a back row or something, and then sync for Trishula. Goes straight through, might get Veiled, but still, you're still doing well. I mean, Lumina's an amazing card. It's perfect for discarding cards from a hand like Necro Gardener, Glow Up Bulb, Plague. Just amazing all-round card. MVP of the deck for sure. Next we got Garoth, which is pretty much an 1850 attack beat stick, with a great effect that also mills on top of another Light Swarm monster. Pretty much combos up with Lumina, Eren, Lila, even Celestia plays. It's just a great card to have in the deck. I mean, it's staple in a Light Swarm deck. Sometimes it can be really shit drawing it, but I mean, gee, how can you not play it? Next we have Wolf, the Light Swarm Beast. Obviously the sole target of this, or the sole purpose of this, is to be a target for soul recharge or obviously get milled. I only play the 1 because I'm trying to play consistency in this build, and it has been working, and I don't often mill this, but I don't often draw it either. I mean, sometimes it gets milled at the perfect time, sometimes I draw it, it's unfortunate, but there's always ways of playing around it with 1, like Card Trooper and Plague Spreader. I've got Eren, Light Swarm Monk. Now this card's been more than favourable this format. It's people playing their first turn Gachi plays or getting out of first turn Zen Miners and Eren bouncing them right back and milling 3 for efforts. I mean, she's actually been amazing, bouncing back Reapers, Sangans, and Zen Miners and Gachi, like I said. It's actually been fantastic, this format. I've got Jane here, or informally known as the Thunder King Killer. She's great just because she can beat over a Thunder King. She has a beefy attack 1800, mills 2, often a great opener. You can sit behind this and often get a Celestia play off turn 2 if you're lucky. She's got a beefy attack, and she's just a strong card. She's perfect for getting over Tengu and T-King. I play the single copy of Raikou. I don't play anymore because it can slow down the deck quite a bit. And Raikou's perfect at 1 because a lot of people are playing the guessing game with what I set. A lot of the time I might set a Necro Garden or a Gub in a really bad hand, and they'll expect it to be a Raikou, and then when I set the Raikou they're expecting it to be something else. I mean, Raikou's actually going off surprisingly a lot. I mean, there's not much of an answer people do have to Raikou besides the old warning, but I often let it get attacked into. We've got Celestia. This is an interesting card. I've been debating whether to keep this in the deck for a long time, but Celestia doesn't go off that often, but she's the 9th Light Swarm monster in this deck. She's absolutely pivotal in the sense that a lot of the time I often scrape along wins by having the 4th Light Swarm in there, and I don't want to break the mold with the 9 Light Swarm monsters here. I think any less and the consistency of the deck will be pretty much hindered. But when she does go off and she does destroy 2, which it happens more than you think. I mean, Monster Reincarnation players or sitting behind a Jane or a Lila Honest play or something, summoning her, popping back row on a monster and pushing through after milling 4. It's an absolute fantastic effect, and she's perfect to have at 1. Although she can be dead, you always can ditch her and whatnot, but when she does go off, it's fantastic. Next, I play a single copy of Maxi. It's not because I own one Maxi. I do own two, though. I'm one of those players who do prefer to play triple effect Veiler, and in my meta anyway, there's a lot of rogue decks back and forth that won't rely on special summoning a lot. You see a lot of anti-meta GBs, a lot of weird shit, and I don't believe this card's that great against Insector either, so in the main deck I only play the one. You guys might think I'm weird for that, though that's how I prefer it. So obviously next, triple effect Veiler. What can I say, this card's absolutely fantastic. Just, I don't run any traps in this deck, and this is my main defense mechanism. I mean, I can sit behind one of these, Veiler one of the big plays, and you'll be surprised the amount of times that Veilering just one thing and then pushing through often leads to a win. Next we've got Gore, self-explanatory. You should run it in just about every deck. Card's fucking broken, wish it would be banned. And we got double Tragodia. Now, a lot of people who've looked at my list have debated the usefulness, or I guess how good this card is in the build, but let me tell you, Tragodia is absolutely amazing. I don't set spells and traps, so I've always got a lot of cards in hand, especially when I open early game with Tragodia. If I draw it in my first 10, it'll be dropped. It'll have 3,000 or so attack, and it's a wonderful way of like having a discard outlet for level 4s like Jane and Wolf and stuff that might be too weak to take Tengus, Thunder Kings and whatnot. And it's also absolutely fantastic in the sense that I can bait out bad players. Like, people throw effect Veilers, I'll be like, copy level 3 or something, and like I haven't stolen anything, and they'll effect Veiler and I'll be like, shit, your turn. They've just negged themselves for no apparent reason. Tragodia is also great in the sense that with BLS, people are drawing it too much these days. I can discard a Judgment Dragon, take their BLS, I can do heaps with it. I have so many varying levels in this deck, and it's absolutely optimum playing 2 in here. Next, got my boss monsters. Obviously, triple Judgment Dragon. Some people say, oh, it might be dead, you should play 2, whatnot. Absolute rubbish. You have to play 3. I mean, that's like saying I won't play Dark Arm because sometimes I'll have 5 Darks engraved. This card's absolutely pivotal. It's a win condition by itself, and the thing with this deck, if you know when to explode with these power cards and you time it perfectly, then these cards will work in your favour and not against you. Obviously, BLS, not much explanation. I run lights and darks. Even if I ran like 2 darks, I'd still run this card. This card's absolutely fucked. It's won me way too many games than it should have, but you know. Next, Dark Arm Dragon. Now, I do run 6 dark targets, and I remove 3 of them, being the Plague and the 2 Necro Gardeners. Now, Dark Arm Dragon's often good because I can control my grave pretty well with discarding outlets like Lumina and whatnot. I'm removing them, Plague, Necro, and Dark Arm goes off probably 80% of the time that I draw it and actually have a chance to play into it. I mean, it's a great card. It's just another boss monster, and it's the way I deal with this format full of Insectors and windups. I just have to overpower them and go for these quick OTKs, and Dark Arm combos up great with cards like Lila and Riker, and just you drop him and people just actually don't expect it half the time. Next we got Double Card Trooper. This card's close to being MVP of the deck. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic consistency card. Mill 3, and a lot of the time, you know, people don't main Cyber Dragons and Chimera Techs in their extra. They're not scooping this card up. It's a great turn 1 play. Put him out on the board, Mill 3 for your troubles, and he'll often die, but you'll draw 1. I mean, you're not negging in any way at all, and he's a great way to, I don't know, get the ball rolling as such. So we've got Plague, Mill Target, Honest. Very helpful this format, because Honest is 1, it's not that prominent. I mean, people aren't dropping it that often, you know. People aren't expecting a lot of the time, and it's great for, you know, coming up with Celestia plays, BLS plays, just infinite plays. I play light monsters, therefore I play Honest. Double Necro Gardener, obvious. I mean, this card's actually helping me get out of some sticky situations. When I am playing and I mill the Necro Gardener, I'll quickly hide it within the middle or the bottom of the graveyard. It's not illegal to do it in our meta. And you know, people don't expect to come in there, but like attack for game, or like Necro, you mad? We should Glow Bob, another mill target, and the last card that I wanted to talk about, Phantom of Chaos. Now, people are debating this card's effectiveness as well, but I mean, I can mill 3 JDs, I can mill Tragodia, I can mill Blackluster Soldier, I can mill Dark Arm Dragon. This card has infinite targets. You copy a monster's effect, blow shit up. There'll be a time when someone will have like 2 set and like a Thunder King or something, and they'll know I have JD in hand because of Duality or something, and I'll Phantom of Chaos JD, blow everything up, follow up with a JD, swing for game. I mean, this card's absolutely bonkers in the sense that it can copy so many wonderful things, especially like Tragodia and whatnot, and just instant synchro material. There's a lot of the times I copy Lumina, and I'll discard a Gub or something, get a level 4 out, Lila, pop a back row, and I can go instant Trish if I don't have the Plague. I mean, it even opens up options if you want to play super aggressively like that. Just a fantastic card. Onto the spells. So, 3 Solar Recharge. What can I say? Draw Engine is strong in this deck. It's a consistency card. Helps get rid of my dead, unusable Light Swarm monsters, and helps me draw into boss monsters and other milling cards like that. Now, the debatable thing I play is Triple Duality. I want to see this card in my hand first turn. I want to open up card tripper mill 3 if I don't hit a wolf. I want to be Pot of Duality supporting the rest of my plays. I mean, this card's fantastic in the sense that people think I'll be special summoning every turn, and although I can, I like to play this deck really slow early game, lure the opponent into some I don't know. I don't like to call it a false insecurity, but you could call it that, whereby the opponent thinks I don't have much flair. I have 5 or so cards in hand, but they're assuming I'm all dead. Pot of Duality is facilitating my plays, and then bang, I can go off with 3 boss monsters in a turn. The opponent will have no idea what's going on. Most of my special summons don't start a chain, so Max C won't be dropped, and it's just a great card for setting things up. It's a consistency card, bails me out of a lot of trouble. I can Pot of Duality like a Phantom of Chaos, and drop that, blow the field anyway, have a Necro Gardener to keep it for next turn, etc. Then I got Charge of the Light Brigade, best card. If you draw this card, I'll win like 80% of the time, even if my hand's fucking shit. I can go Lumina, massive discard outlet, it's just fantastic. Avarice, staple. Oh, Monster Reborn, staple as well. Both staple cards, no explanation needed here. Reinforcements of the army. Garoth, Aaron, Jane. 3 important Light Sworn targets. Now Garoth, when I have... Often if I open up Solar Recharge and I even have a Rhoda and even another Light Sworn monster, I'll pretty much always go Rhoda, get the Garoth just out of the deck. I don't want to draw that trash. And do that for my troubles. Or if they go Gachi or whatever, I can just go Aaron straight away. Or worst comes to worst, I can get a Necro Gardener. But most of the time it's one of those 3 Light Swarm monsters, and it's great for that use. It's just another consistency card. Monster Reincarnation, -1, can turn into a +5. I mean, ditch something, get back your BLS, your dad, your fucking Gauze, your JD, do whatever you want with it. Although it telegraphs your plays a little bit, it's often when you're going for game, you don't drop this card too early. Allure, get some of those dead cards out of my hand. I know it's debatable, I run 6 and the dad. This deck aims for consistency, and this card delivers just what it's meant to. And the last card, obviously, Heavy Storm. I don't play Mystical, but you know, I'll often use this as a 1-for-1 and play extremely aggressively. And to the side, which I think is extremely important in this deck. If you don't side properly, the deck's going to be pretty bad game 2 and 3 if people side well. Double Cyber Dragon, obviously for more uses than Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. There's not much explanation needed here. It's actually pretty good against Insectors, GBs, Sabers, you name it. This card's fucking great. Vanity's Fiend. Now, a lot of people question this card as well, but I side this card in. Someone will have a Tengu or something, I'll go side your Vanity's Fiend, attack over it, and they're pretty much fucked. Vanity's Fiend just locks the opponent down. I don't main deck this card because I want consistency, but if I really want to shut my opponent down and their decks are faster than mine, I'll come out with a Vanity's Fiend, and a lot of the time this is unexpected as well. Next, just the 1 DD Crow, you know, Plants, Mirror, Wind Up Loop, I guess, anything you like. My other Max C, simply for defense, decks faster than mine, decks like Plants and stuff, where I can net significant pluses off the Max C, then I'll go straight for it. Double Thunder King, because I love sitting with this card on the board and having a Veiler in hand to support it, or a Max C, you know, just to lock your opponent down. I mean, pretty self-explanatory card. I've been playing this card ever since I picked them up ages ago. I mean, absolutely fantastic. Denies your opponent a lot of things. Can deny them a first turn duality, which can pretty much fuck their whole game. This card itself can win you a game. Dark Hole, don't main this card. Game 1, I'll often have a full board and I don't need this card, it'll be dead in my hand. I play so aggressively that I don't need to main it, but you know, if I'm starting second game 2 or something, I might side it in against a deck where I need the board to be gone. Double MST, just for decks like GKs, I have a lot of trouble with GKs. Decks like GKs and whatnot, pretty self-explanatory as well. When I feel I need more Spell Trap Destruction than Raiko and Lila, then these will definitely go in. Double Leech in the Light, just because agents can be a little troublesome with their boss monsters. It always feels good pushing for game with a Necro Gardener that's copied Archlord Christie's attack. I mean, that's just ridiculous. The card's pretty busted. And lastly, Triple Royal Decree. A lot of people don't expect this. Against a good player, they'll side out the Spell Trap Destruction. I'll side these right in against Rabbit or something. Rape. Absolute rape. I'll flip this up, push through everything, and pretty much proceed to win. This card's pivotal in a lot of my wins, honestly. It's extremely pivotal. Good players don't expect it. Bad players won't side out the Spell Trap Destruction. Onto the extra quickly. Chimera Tech, Cyber Dragons, Trish, Scrap, Stardust, Black Rose, Briar, Orient. This is all staple as. Librarian, even though I don't synchro that much, I like something that can get over Chaos Sorcerer and Catastor. Catastor, obviously. Armory Arm for my big plays when I can like Vela plus Lumina or something ridiculous like that. Drop a BLS, Quip, bang bang. Utopia, do have quite a few level 4s, as I love this card, Roach. I won't drop this from the extra. I do run enough level 4s to run this, and I like this card. If I can... Well, I'll give you an example. I played in a game in the Super Series qualifier against Agents, whereby my Aaron cleared his Gachi, and then Honest kept Aaron on the field for another turn. And so I'd milled 6 for my troubles, and then I'd gone into a Roach, and, well, besides Darkhold, what's an Agents play going to do after they've gone through their Gachi? Leviathan, pretty staple. I think it's pretty staple. Anything that can beat into a Stardust is staple. Levier, get back my banished Necro Gardeners and whatnot. Trooper, Levier, Lumina, all level 3s. And Zen Miners for a bit of defense when I think I need it. In concluding thoughts, this deck's extremely good. It's not as easy to play as it looks. It's definitely not. It's a question of knowing when to explode, whether to withhold the cards in your hand, and you only have like one Veiler or one Maxi often in most of your games as defense. It's not like you can sit behind a warning and a judgment and be like, yeah, I can just flip these whenever I like. You have to be extremely smart with your defense, weather the storm, I guess, from your opponent, and then explode when they think you've pretty much got virtually nothing in your hand. Anyway, thanks for listening, and please subscribe and like.